You spot a shirt marked 1000, a tempting sign, 20% off, and below it, 10% tax added at the till. Most people do the sum in their head, 20 off, 10 back on. So surely just 10% off overall. It feels right. It is wrong. The catch is that each percentage acts on a different, moving base. And almost every quantitative shortcut is just spotting which pattern you're in. So today we build the whole toolkit, one pattern at a time. Start at the foundation. P% means P out of 100. So P% of a quantity Y is P over 100 times Y. Every percentage problem is a disguised version of this one line. Picture 250 as a bar of 20 equal blocks, each worth 12 and a half. 20% is 4 of those blocks, 50. And the formula agrees, 20 over 100 times 250 is 50. A fast read, then a shortcut. 15% of 80 is 12. And keep a few friendly fractions in your pocket. 50% a half, 25 a quarter, 12 and a half an eighth, 20 or fifth. Recognize these and many percentages need no arithmetic. Now the part that trips everyone, change. To go up by p%, multiply by 1 plus p over 100. To go down, 1 minus it. Think in factors, and percentages start behaving. Here is the fact that fools people made visible. 80 rises to 100. Going up, that is a 25% increase, 20 over 80. But coming back down, 100 to 80. The drop is only 20%, 20 over 100, a bigger base. Same 20 moved, yet the percentages disagree. Percentage change is not symmetric. When changes stack, turn each into a factor and multiply. Watch it settle the shirt. Marked 1000. First, the 20% discount on the marked price. 1000 times 0.8 is 800. Then 10% tax. But on the discounted 800, not the original. 800 times 1.1 is 880. That different base is the whole trick. You pay 880, 120 below the marked 1000. So a 12% fall, not the 10 you expected. The naive answer was simply wrong. Ratios are about parts. Two things in the ratio, A to B hold a plus B parts together. So split any total by handing each its share. That one idea solves almost every ratio question. Say three friends split 6,300 in the ratio 2 to 3 to 4. Draw the money as one bar cut into parts. 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9 parts. One part is 6,300 over 9, 700. So the shares are 1,400, 2,100 and 2,800, adding back to 6,300, exactly as they should. Two more moves. Chaining. If A to B is 3 to 4 and B to C is 6 to 5, make the shared B agree at 12. The chain reads 9 to 12 to 10. And proportion. 4 is to 6 as 6 is to x. Cross multiply. 4x is 36, so x is 9. The plain average is the sum divided by how many. So the average of 40, 50 and 60 is 150 over 350. Nothing subtle yet. But averages hide a famous trap. Two classes sit a test. Class A, 30 students averaging 60. Class B, 20 students averaging 80. The tempting answer just averages the two averages. 60 and 80 gives 70. It is wrong. Because the classes differ in size, the bigger, lower scoring class pulls the result down. The honest way is the weighted average. Total marks over total students. 1800 plus 1600 is 3400. Over 50 students is 68. Closer to 60, just as intuition demanded. A second flavor. How one new value shifts an average. A batsman averages 50 over 9 innings, then scores 90. Rebuild the total. 450 plus 90 is 540. Over 10 innings, 54. Run that trick backwards, and it even uncovers a hidden value. Mixing is weighted averaging in disguise, with a shortcut called alligation. Blend rice at 20, a kilo with rice at 30 for a mix costing 24. In what ratio? Draw the cross. Prices on top, target in the middle. Along each diagonal, take the distance from the target to the other price. The cheap rice earns the far gap, 30 minus 24. 6. The dear rice earns the near gap, 24 minus 20, 4. So cheap to dear is 6 to 4, 3 to 2. Twice as much cheap rice, sensible since 24 sits closer to 20. One more, the classic milk and water. 60 liters, milk to water 2 to 1. How much water to make it half and half? Read the parts. 2/3 of 60 is 40 liters of milk, 1/3 20 of water. Adding water leaves the milk untouched, so the water must climb to 40. You add 20 more liters. Everything about motion hangs on one triangle. Distance equals speed times time. Rearranged. Speed is distance over time. Time is distance over speed. No two, you have the third. Now the average speed trap. 120 kilometers. First 60 at 40 an hour. Second 60 at 60. Time is distance over speed. 60 over 40 is 1.5 hours. 60 over 60 is 1 hour. Total time 2.5. So average speed is 120 over 2.548. Note it is 48, not the 50 you get by averaging. You spend longer at the slower speed. For equal distances, use the harmonic mean. To V1 V2 over their sum, 2 times 40 times 60 over 100. Again 48. Relative speed is the next big idea. Add the speeds when two objects approach, subtract when one chases the other. Two trains, 120 and 80 meters long, at 40 and 60 an hour. To pass each other, they clear their combined length, 200 meters. Head-on, the closing speed is 100 an hour, 27.78 meters a second. So they cross in 7.2 seconds. Change only the direction. Chasing the same way, the closing speed drops to 20 an hour, 5.56 meters a second. So the same 200 meters now takes 36 seconds, 5 times longer. The same logic runs boats on a stream. Downstream you add the current, upstream you subtract it. Work problems become easy the moment you think in rates. Finish a job in a days, and you do 1 over each day. Working together, rates add. The combined time is 1 over that summed rate. Take a finishing in 12 days, B in 6. Their rates are 1/12 and 1/6 of the job per day. Add them. 1/12 plus 2/12 is 3/12, a quarter of the job each day. A quarter of the job a day means the whole job in 4 days. Picture a tank filling. A quarter each day, full on the fourth. Together, they beat either one alone, as teamwork should. Pipes add a twist. A drain works against you, so its rate is negative. A pipe fills in 6 hours, a leak empties in 9. The net rate is 1/6 minus 1/9, 1/18. So both open, the tank fills in 18 hours. Staged work is the same idea. Subtract the fraction one finishes, let the other complete the rest. Trade problems all rest on one base, the cost price. Profit percent is selling minus cost. Over cost times 100. Loss is the same, flipped. To quick reads, buy at 100, sell at 125 is a 25% profit. Buy at 80, sell at 60, a 25% loss. Always over cost, never the selling price. Discounts come off the marked price, not the cost. A shirt marked 1000, 20% off. The selling price is 1000 times not point 0.8, 800. But the cost was only 640. So the real profit is 800 minus 640, 160. Over the cost of 640, 25%. A healthy margin, since discount and profit sit on different bases. Two closers. Successive discounts multiply the factors. So 20 then 10% off is a single 28, not 30. And a famous sting: sell two items at 990 each, one at 10% profit, one at 10% loss. Their costs differ: 900 and 1100, so 2000 out, only 1980 in. A 1% loss overall. Equal percentages on unequal costs never cancel. Interest comes in two flavors. Simple interest is flat, on the original principal. Principal times rate times time, over 100. Compound grows on itself. Principal times 1 plus rate, raised to the number of years. Simple first. 1000 at 10% for 3 years is 1000 times 10 times 3. Over 100, 300, the same flat 100 each year. Compound is where it gets interesting. 1000 at 10% grows to 1100 after a year. The second year's 10% is on 1100, not 1000. You gain 110, reaching 1210. The interest itself is growing. Over 2 years compound is 210 versus 200 simple. That 10 rupee gap is the interest on interest. For 2 years, it equals principal times rate over 100 squared. Over 3 years, it widens to 331 against 300. A cluster of number facts pays off again and again. The highest common factor is the biggest number dividing both. The lowest common multiple, the smallest they both divide. They obey a golden identity. HCF times LCM equals the product of the two. Check it on 24 and 36. Factor 12, multiple 72, and 12 times 72 is 864. So is 24 times 36. And LCM answers when things coincide questions. The smallest number divisible by 12, 15 and 20 is their lowest common multiple, 60, when three bells at those intervals next ring together. Remainders and last digits round it off. 100 divided by 7 leaves 2, since 98 is 14 sevens. And unit digits run in cycles. Powers of 7 and 7, 9, 3, 1, every 4. 100 is a multiple of 4, so 7 to the 100th ends in 1. Finally, counting and chance. Order matters, use permutations. Order does not, combinations. And probability is favorable outcomes over total. A picture makes chance concrete. Roll to dice. The grid shows all 36 equally likely outcomes, one square each, which give a sum of 7. The diagonal, 1 and 6, 2 and 5, 3 and 4, and their mirrors. 6 squares out of 36. So the probability of a 7 is 6 over 36, 1/6. And the two ideas meet here. A bag holds 7 red and 5 blue balls. You draw 3 at once. The chance all 3 are red. Order does not matter. So combinations. Total 3-ball draws is 12 choose 3, 220. The all-red draws come from the 7 reds alone. 7 choose 3, 35. Favorable over total. 35 over to 20, which tidies to 7/44, about 16%. Your turn. 4 problems. One from each corner of the toolkit, all on screen. Pause here. Work through every one. Then play on to check yourself. I'll wait. Part A. Factors. 800 times 1.25 is 1000. Times 0.8, 800 again. Right back where it started. Because up 25 then down 20 exactly undo each other. Part B. Equal distances. So the harmonic mean. 2 times 30 times 60 over 90 is 3600 over 90, 40 an hour. Not the 45 from plain averaging. Part C. Add the rates. 1/15 plus 1/10. Over 30, that is 2 plus 3. 5/30ths. A sixth of the job a day. So together they finish in 6 days. And part D. Compound growth. 2000 times 1.1 squared is 2420. So the interest is 420. 800, 40, 6 days, 420, and you have the whole toolkit. Trap 1. The biggest by far. Successive percentages never add. Turn each into a factor and multiply. 20 off then 10 on was 8 up, not 10. Trap 2. Averaging to averages only works when the groups are equal in size. Otherwise, weight by the counts. Trap 3. For equal distances at two speeds, average speed is the harmonic mean, not the plain average. You linger longer at the slower speed. Trap 4. Never treat compound interest as simple. It grows on itself, so it always runs ahead. The 2-year gap is principal times rate over 100 squared. And trap 5. Handle ratios as parts of a whole. And always compare with kilometers against kilometers, hours against hours. Before any formula, let's log the map in each pattern beside its one-line method. Percentages, factors, ratios, parts, averages, weight by the counts. Motion and work. Distance equals speed times time. Rates add. Harmonic mean for equal distances. Trade and interest. Everything over cost. And compound grows on itself. And the last three, numbers, where HCF times LCM equals the product. Counting, permutations when order matters, combinations when it does not. And probability, favorable over total. Every question is one of these patterns wearing a story. Name the pattern first, and the arithmetic follows.